The wild list of things that animals can end up swallowing is endless. Towels, plastic, nails, tattooed arms, literature books, reptiles, gold, your Aunt Carol, you name it, and it might be found inside these animals. So, let's begin with
أول ما قربنا عليه كان شعور كذا إن هذا الحوت فيه حاجة يعني. قررنا نحن نربطه نفرقه للساحل عنبر والله.
In 2021, a group of Yemeni fishermen were tipped about a whale carcass at Gulf of Aden, and they went off to find it. Now, as the decomposing carcass releases a lot of gases, the not-so-pleasant smell made it easier for them to locate and retrieve the whale. Inside it, they found 280 pounds of vomit gold, what is scientifically known as ambergris. And believe you me, that vomit really is worth gold and diamonds. It's actually a solid, waxy, flammable substance of dull black color, produced in the stomach of a whale, and it's used as a raw material in perfume making, as it gives it a long-lasting smell. And this one was valued at $1.4 million. Now, you must be wondering if ambergris has that much worth. Why don't we hear about it often? Well, turns out it's illegal to hunt whales due to risk of extinction, because fish are friends, not gold.
Fish are friends, not food! Food!
Fatal environmental pollution. Now, let's take a break for a public service message on environmental pollution. Calm down, it is related to the video. A sperm whale in the National Park of Indonesia was found dead at the shore of the sea. There were 115 cups, 25 bags, and 2 flip-flops found inside it. A whole bag with 1,000 pieces of string was in there as well. But this isn't isolated. There was another case of a marine giant in Thailand similar. Almost 80 pieces of plastic were discovered within its body. Millions of metric tons of garbage is dumped in the ocean each year, and several aquatic organisms become victims of this abuse, including these poor whales. Marine heist. A tiger shark off the coast of Florida had something valuable in its belly. A bag of cash was found in its tummy. The amount of money could not be estimated, as the cash had degenerated quite a bit. Well, there's 99 ways to be afraid of sharks, and being robbed is apparently one of them. Was this fish just munching, or is it possible that he was part of a large heist gang? Hey, Ocean's 11 forgot to add this guy to the group. Fortune teller fish. In 1882, a sunfish, commonly known as a mola mola, was found stranded at Sydney Harbor. The fish was 2.4 meters tall and is considered one of the heaviest bony fish. The marine animal was shifted to an Australian museum and later put on display in a fish exhibition in England in 1883. A newspaper was discovered inside of the fish. Now, the question is, how the fish had a newspaper of the future in its belly? Is this a proof of time traveling? Well, netizens certainly agree, as this is considered to be proof of time travel by some people. Shark ballism. Alright, you must have surely heard about cannibalism before, right? You might also know about sharkabalism. But did you know about sibling ballism? Okay, my tongue has started to twist, enough of that. The sand tiger sharks are vicious predators feeding on other fishes and sharks. But at one point, they all have eaten their own siblings. They give birth to many, many live babies, but only a few of them make it out alive, because there's a heck of a competition between the siblings to eat one another in the mother's womb. So the birth rate of this animal is lower than all other sharks, thanks to cannibalism.
When those young are in the womb, they're eating their brothers and sisters. Amazing.
They have such a high grudge that usually only up to 2 embryos make it to actual birth. So much for baby shark doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Baby shark doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Baby shark.
Explosive squid. Squids are a tasty meal, especially when served with a yummy garlic sauce. In 2016, a fishmonger in Guangdong, a province in China, found an eggplant-shaped metal, roughly the size of 20 centimeters in diameter, in the squid while cutting it. It had probably fallen in the ocean from a fighter jet, and that bomb was still active. The police were immediately called, and the bomb was disposed of in a controlled explosion. Squids usually feed on smaller fish or prawns at the shore of the sea. The squid might have mistaken the bomb for a prawn. Well, surely it was a bombastic meal. Tattoo Felix shark. In 1935, in Australia, a shark coughed out the hand of a person. The hand was marked by a tattoo of a boxer. The tattooed arm may have been extra scrumptious to the shark, who knows? But a boxer named Jimmy Smith had been missing for quite a while, and that same tattoo was present on his body. The arm of the shark did in fact belong to Mr. Smith. But wait, the fish here is innocent. It only ate the arm that was made available to him. The actual host of the victim was Patrick Brady, a colleague of Smith involved in his homicide. Let's keep his way of attack censored for the occasion. Exploding whales. Each year around the world, almost 2,000 whales are reported to be found stranded. The dead whales can look like large balloons and may pop, causing a large, dangerous explosion. The bursting of the animal is due to the buildup of gases inside. The decomposition process of these giant organisms can produce a variety of gases, including hydrogen sulfide and methane. The two of them together provide that characteristic bad smell of whales decomposing. Just imagine if wars were fought with such weapons. Ugh. You know what, forget I said that. In certain cases, the gas can be produced at such a high level that they exert pressure on the walls of the whale, causing a wild burst. That's an easy example to learn Boyle's Law. The process is called whale bloating. And that's why people always tell you, if you see a dead whale on the beach, don't touch it. Rubber Doggo. The caution sign on the toys is there for a reason, but it's not just babies that need to be supervised. In 2019, in Thailand, a dog was rushed to the hospital because he swallowed not one or two, but 32 rubber ducks. The owner observed that the dog was gagging strangely. The rubber duckies, which were bought for the bath, were nowhere to be found. The owner got suspicious that his pet might have swallowed them. When the dog was brought to the vet, the theory was confirmed, and the vet had to perform emergency surgery to save the life of the poor dog. Crocodile Cottage. The only scarier place to stay besides a witch's cottage is apparently the stomach of a crocodile. Don't believe me? Well, when this particular crocodile's body was cut, several alive turtles were found inside it. Not the greatest place for a picnic, huh? The turtles were not there by choice. They were taken in by the crocodile as a scrumptious meal. The stomach of this reptile has an extremely low pH, making it acidic enough to digest even the hardest of structures, like hooves, bones, and even horns. So, how did these turtles survive? Well, I guess their armor is there for a reason. Largest heart discovery. Blue whales are considered to be the largest of mammals. In 2015, one of the members of this species got out of luck and washed up on the coast of Canada. That luck was transferred to the scientist who took this opportunity to study the heart structure. The chest cavity of the animals was opened up to get to the heart. Yeah, like the pain of separation and washing out wasn't enough for the mammal. It's been reported that the heart of a whale is roughly the size of a car, and the aorta is wide enough for a human to swim through it. Don't try it though. The largest heart discovered, which is in fact of a blue whale, has been displayed in the Royal Ontario Museum. Snake babies. In 2016, Nigerian villagers were worried that snakes might eat their calves. Once they found a snake with an extremely fattened belly, they thought that one of the calves had been feasted upon. When they cut open the reptile, they observed multiple layers containing dozens of eggs inside. Turns out it wasn't a vicious predator, but a soon-to-be mother snake. The species of the reptile was not properly identified, but it was thought to be an African rock python, one of the largest snake species ever discovered. Homo sapien. Indeed, one of the most shocking things that could be found inside the body of an animal is a human being. And this was the case of Riner Bride. Off the coast of South Africa, Bride was snorkeling and filming the sardine run when a bride's whale appeared. That giant took the swimmer in its mouth. The legs of the man were still hanging out of its mouth. The person luckily managed to swim out of the mouth of the whale. And another person reported that he also was swallowed by a whale for a mere 30 seconds, but luckily the whale spat him out. No injuries were endured by that person. And if it was the first case reported, I mean, no one would have believed it. But after the Riner Bride case, it's no more unbelievable. Scholarly fish. In 1626, a woman was selling a codfish when she discovered pages of a manuscript inside its body in England. Well, that's your cue to study. But anyway, a well-known scholar, Dr. Joseph, on hearing this news, visited the stall of the lady and transferred the book to Dr. Samuel Ward, another scholar. He cleaned the book and found that it contains information about different species of fish, written by John Frith, who was imprisoned in 1533 in a fish cellar due to his rebellious theories. The book was later published in 1627 with the title Vox Pisces, Book of Fish. I really hope they reference the codfish as the author. Battle of Snake and Crocodile. On the shores of Lake Mundara, near Mount Isa in Queensland, Australia, a dispute was observed between a snake and a crocodile. Do you want to bet who wins? Well, let's call supporters of crocodile Crockies and that of the snake Snakies. Well, bad news for you Crockies out there. The snake won the contest as he swallowed the crocodile within 5 hours. A local resident who observed this wild wrestling live said that the details of crocodile could be well observed even in the body of a snake. The scales and the legs could easily be identified from the outside. Well, bad luck for the croc and all the Crockies out there as well. Shark fried chicken. A tiger shark had a chance to have a special meal. The meal was rich in protein, as well as zinc and aluminum. It was discovered that the shark in the coast of Florida had taken several chickens inside. But hey, wait a minute. Zinc and aluminum is not found in poultry. Well, that's right. The thing is, several hens were not only indigestion, the coop of the birds was also swallowed along with them. Hey, sharks can open their own restaurant for such food. How does SFC sound? Or maybe Fish Donald's? Vote in the comment section. Fingerfish.
I'm surprised I haven't lost fingers yet. You know, is what I always told myself, and I'm glad it's not my hand.
You sure like eating fish fingers. But what if the tables were turned? Yikes! In 2012, a trout fish was caught by a fisherman, and when he cut it open, he found this in it. He called the authorities, and forensic investigations were carried out to determine the owner of the digits through fingerprints, and those belonged to a young man named Hans Galassi. The man had lost 4 of the appendages from his hands while wakeboarding 3 months ago. Crazy hunter fish. This fish sure was hungry, or just extra adventurous. No one in their right mind would like to have a meal of crocodile. I know I don't, but this crazy marine fella here had some other plans. A fish was caught, and when its belly was cut open, 2 completely intact and alive, yeah, alive crocodiles were found inside. The crocodiles were tiny, indicating that they were just babies. Aw. But these babies were able to survive the digestive enzymes of a fish. Well, I guess bravery does not come from age, it comes from passion. A passion to survive. Shark versus polar bear. To eat other fish is one thing. To eat other sharks? Well, that's a whole other thing. But to eat polar bears? Now that's something unique. In 2008, scientists found a dead Greenland shark in the Arctic region with the head of a polar bear in its stomach. The shark species weighs around 2,200 pounds, and it's about 7 meters tall, while polar bears weigh about 1,200 pounds, and along with their legs can reach up to 3 meters in length. So how the heck did this even happen? Well, whatever occurred, I'm sure it was quite the fight to watch. Mummyception. This one will take you through a roller coaster of emotions. It's a double creepy mystery. 2,500-year-old mummified crocodiles were discovered by archaeologists in the early 19th century near the western bank of the Nile. But they had a shock in store for the experts. The crocodile-headed god, known as Sobek, was believed to be responsible for bringing fertility to the soil. The reptiles were specially bred and sacrificed to Sobek. But in the late 19th century, it was discovered that there were 2 small mummified crocodiles in the 3-meter-long mummy. Even more shocking was the fact that an advanced 3D scan was conducted, and it turned out 47 more individually mummified brooding crocodiles were present adjacent to the other 2. Alien harboring toad. In 2016, scientists were trying to study the poison of dart frogs, which is of great interest due to its use for hunting purposes. The poison is secreted in the stomach, lined with alkaloids which are derived from its feed. The diet of dart frogs consists of 86% ants. To study the poison, scientists allowed the frog to puke. In the puke, a unique ant species was discovered. This species had not ever been studied or seen in the ecosystem. Did some aliens try to invade us and leave their pet ant for us? Oh, don't be dramatic. It was just an understudied species. The organism has been given the scientific name of Linomyrmex holdobleri, and up to now, very limited literature is present on the species. Exquisite snake meal. The owner was trying to feed a rat to his pet python named Winston with the help of barbecue tongs. After finishing the meal, the owner tried to take away the instrument, but Mr. Winston was being stubborn. So the owner left the tongs in there. Later on, when the owner returned, the feeding instrument was missing. The snake seemed rigid, so the owner rushed the snake to the veterinary hospital. A 3-hour surgery was performed to remove the equipment from the snake's body, as digestion of that material would have damaged the organs of the snake. In Mr. Winston's defense, the tongs did taste a lot like barbecue. Zombified ant. Zombies don't exist, right? Or do they? Well, in the case of ants, it's unfortunately true. In 1859, Alfred Russell, a British biologist, discovered an ant with weird behavior. The insect had been infected by a fungus known as cordyceps. Studies by entomologists on such behavior reveals a scary explanation. The spores of this particular fungus use the body of insects as a host by attaching and strengthening its roots inside. Now, the nervous system of the host is entirely controlled by the parasitoid. The ant is unable to make decisions on its own. Hey now, that's a very controlling behavior, a major red flag for that relationship. The chemicals are released in the body which cause overexcitement. You might say the ant gets a little high. The parasite compels its host to find the optimum conditions for growth, including sunlight and humidity. Upon locating perfect conditions, the ant dies and fungal sprouts grow and burst, thus repeating the whole cycle. Bacterial invasion. In 2016, the carcass of several decades-old reindeer in snow started to melt in Russia. Well, here lies your proof for global warming. But anyway, the decaying of the animals spread the infection, which ended up causing the death of 1,200 reindeer in the area and affected 15,000 people in nearby villages. It was a small bacteria, roughly the size of 3 to 5 micrometers long, that caused such havoc in the towns. There's a reason why scientists warn us about climate change. It's been reported that several ancient bacteria thrive on dead animals, and if the patterns of temperature and weather continue to shift, then we might have to suffer from various plagues, as we've not developed any immunity to these pathogens. So, I guess COVID-19 Season 2 is coming. Eelfish. What is this eel inside fish? Or fish inside eel? God knows. Wait, the eel is trying to get out of the fish. So it is an eel inside of the fish. Oh good, that mystery solved. Well, a fish tried to swallow a large eel inside its body, but failed to complete its mission. Well, a few inches long fish didn't think it through how it was gonna swallow a several foot long eel. So much for food cravings, huh? The eel inside the fish may not be the weirdest discovery, but surely the longest one. Poor kitty. If you're a feline lover, you might want to skip this one. As the kitty was playing with thread, she swallowed it. But the unfortunate thing is that a needle was attached to the thread, which was also ingested. When a woman, the owner of the cat, observed the missing thread, she immediately suspected it may have gone inside her pet. The good news for ilurophiles and another person with decent empathy is that the cat was saved thanks to the local surgeon. But is this incident gonna stop the cat from further mischievous acts? Well, I mean, it's a cat, so, you know. Predator. Snakes are no doubt one of the scariest of predators. I'm sure when you leave your dog outside, you wouldn't imagine that it would be swallowed by this reptile. The owner of 2 puppies certainly couldn't have envisioned the same. When the woman went out to feed her 2 pups, only one of them came back. The other pet, named Love, was missing. When the owner tried to find her puppy, she was horrified to see that it had been swallowed by a large snake. And that snake was a 14-foot python. The victim of the reptile was only 2 months old. But luckily, the snake wasn't able to digest the dog and puked it back out. Puppy being a baby. Baby, parent, and dog were once a happy family. A baby, a parent, and a dog made for quite a happy family. The baby of the house kept losing his pacifiers, so the parents had to go buy it again and again. The father, who just so happened to be a vet, suspected something weird with his pet. And it turns out the pacifiers were not stolen by a neighbor kid or just lost. They were actually inside their home. To be specific, they were inside the dog. The dog had swallowed 21 pacifiers over the course of time. Maybe the canine wanted the attention that was given to the baby, or maybe he just wanted to be a baby himself. But whatever it was, his actions had definite consequences. Photographer Fish. A photographer, Raymond Pascoe, was on a fishing trip. The target organism for photography were lemon sharks, which are friendly to humans, as they pose no threat to us. At the end of the fishing pole, a versatile camera, a GoPro, was attached. The party was going pretty well, until it had been crashed by a bull shark. As opposed to lemon sharks, the latter are the worst nemesis of human beings. Most of reported attacks on people are by bull sharks. They are also very territorial in nature. So that explains why it was so mad for not being invited to the party. The 11-foot shark swallowed the camera. Or maybe he just wanted to be a photographer. Luckily, due to the float attached to the camera, the fisherman was able to retrieve it. Battle of the Shark. Sharks are nicknamed the garbage cans of the ocean, as they can intake most objects thrown into the sea. This time, a shark was discovered with a whole intact armor of a soldier inside. This information may seem unreliable, but the story was quoted by scientists on the occasion of the shark exhibition in the Natural History Museum in the United States. So yeah, no room for doubt there. Hey, it could be a good advertisement for armor companies. If it can survive a shark attack, it can survive anything. Larvae in a bunny. Bunnies are one of the cutest animals in the world, with their cute noses, fluffy butts, and cute ears. Oh God, someone save me. I think I'm having a cuteness overdose. Okay, I think I'm back to normal now. But alas, their cuteness cannot save them from being part of this compilation. The babies of botflies shelter in the body of animals. The eggs of these flies are laid on mosquitoes, and when mosquitoes bite a host, eggs hatch and enter the body through the hole. The nymph can cause painful lumps in the animal bodies. The larva removal from the bunnies is one of the grossest and most saddening sights. Oh, the sweet bunny. Toxoplasma versus the world. Toxoplasma is a protozoa which is capable of parasitizing a variety of animals. The unpleasant news is that the parasite has also made its way into the marine ecosystem. A parasite called Toxoplasma gondii was observed in the heart and diaphragm of a beluga whale. Previously, it had only been reported to be seen in seals. This news is unfortunate for people with beluga meat preferences. Not this beluga, this one. God. If the organism is transferred inside the human body, it can cause blindness and other congenital birth diseases. When ingested by rats, it reduces the fear of rats towards cats. The Toxoplasma completes its romantic cycle, sexual reproduction, inside felines. The Battle of Roach and Lizard. Cockroaches are one heck of an organism. They can survive even nuclear explosions. The pesticides that kill most of the insects are still not efficient enough to kill roaches immediately. These roaches sure are stubborn, but there's one organism that is able to defeat roaches, and that is lizards. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of these reptiles, but at least they can't survive explosions. Lizards feed on a variety of insects, and they're not scared to have an extra large protein meal of brown bugs. Varieties of people have observed lizards and geckos taking in roaches, so it's not anomalous news. Plastic pollution. A bull in India had gotten severely ill, but the reason for this was no surprise to the owners, as it was plastic pollution. A bull had been feeding from the junk during his lifetime. Over the years, large amounts of plastic reserves had accumulated in its body. Due to this, that cow had fallen extremely sick. Holy cow! The mammal, when brought to the doctors, was advised to have surgery. During surgery, 40 pounds of plastic and rubbish were removed from its body. This is the last time I ask you to stop throwing plastic and start recycling. Jeez. Fish infection. Would you like it if your tongue was replaced by a parasite? Well, what sort of a question is that? Well, the parasite called Cymothoa exigua, commonly known as a fish louse, can perform this action, but luckily only on fish, not people. This insect enters the fish through its gills and attaches itself to the tongue of the host with the help of its claws. The blood flow is affected, and louse takes control of muscles of the tongue, and thus acts as the main tongue. No other harm is caused to the fish. Some marine organisms can survive with louse infestation, but their feeding quality is affected. It is the female that is actually attached to the feeding organ. The male attaches either beneath or behind the female in the gill arches. See? Cymothua is a leading lady. So, these were some of the things tingling inside of wildlife. Which internal creature discovered is going to keep you up at night? Let us know in the comments section.